It is 7:07 p.m. on Tuesday, June 22nd, 2021. We are going to open the administrative meeting. We are running late this evening due to technical difficulties with sound and trying to have everything online available as it is if you were here in person. You do roll call, please.
Yep, for tonight, I have trustees Chris Samples.
Here.
John Talbot.
Here.
William Luxinger.
Here.
Trustee Nathan Mons is absent. Jen Christensen is absent. Trustee Bill Motisi.
Here.
President Rick Worm.
Here.
Treasurer Brenda Onabany.
Here.
Clerk Sandy Mazem here. Public Works Supervisor Brett Fergie.
Here.
All right.
All right. We have the consent agenda this evening. If you would please read the items on it.
Tonight for approval on the consent agenda, I have item number 1, the May 25th, 2021 Administrative Board Minutes. Item number 2, the bills payable warrant list dated June 22nd, 2021. Item number 3 is ordinance number 21-06, an ordinance amending Chapter 44, Article 2, Water of the Village of Davis Junction Municipal Code. Number 4 is resolution number 21-25, a resolution adopting a sidewalk inspection repair program. Item number 5 is resolution number 21-26, a resolution authorizing the destruction of closed session tapes. And number 6 is resolution number 21-27, a resolution approving and reviewing executive session meeting minutes.
At this time, do any of the board members wish to remove any of the items off of the consent agenda for further discussion? Go ahead, entertain the first motion.
I move to place agenda items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 inclusively as consent agenda items. Further, I move that all items be considered together as the consent agenda. Second.
William makes a motion to place items 1 through 6 inclusively as the consent agenda. John seconds. Roll call, please.
Jen is absent. Bill?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Nathan is absent. Chris?
Yes.
William?
Yes.
Motion passes 7:09.
I move to adopt items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 inclusively on the consent agenda in a single group pursuant to the omnibus vote procedure specified in the Illinois Municipal Code. Second.
William makes a motion to adopt items 1 through 6 inclusively as the consent agenda. Chris seconds. Roll call, please.
Bill?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Nathan is absent. Chris?
Yes.
William?
Yes.
Jen is absent.
Motion also passes at 7:10 p.m. We do not need item C for the agenda, as nothing was removed for further discussion. Under me, we have discussion and possible approval of resolution number 21-28, so it's electrical aggregation.
Can you move your microphone closer? I suspect that tonight's audio issues might be caused by the wiring that is one short of what I need.
All right, then I'll back up. So under me, we have discussion and possible approval of resolution number 21-28 regarding electrical aggregation. Does anybody have any questions on it? I think we talked about last week, put it on here. No, we got this approved last Friday.
This is the resident.
This is for the
For
residents.
the residents. Yeah, I can't make
So
them.
we need a motion?
Yes.
Make a motion to approve resolution number 21-28, a resolution ratifying master agreement by and between Eligo Energy Corporate, or Eligo Energy Illinois LLC and the Village of Davis Junction for electrical aggregation. Second.
New messages received from Sandy Moss.
Oh, Glenda, you're not muted.
What did you say?
You're not muted. So we can hear your text going off in the background.
Really? I wish I could hear you. Really? I wish I could hear you guys.
Okay, so Chris makes a motion to it. It was Chris, right?
Yep.
To approve resolution number 21-28. John seconds. Is there any discussion on it?
Yeah, I just want to let everybody know, all our residents, that they can opt out if they don't want to go with, did I say it right? Eligo?
Mm-hmm. Well, as much as I know.
Eligo.
Yeah, however you pronounce it, they can opt out, they don't have to, you know, I checked the rates actually and found that it was probably one of the best that I saw for a residential. But, you know, that's up to each individual and it doesn't come into what, September? Is that?
When this one expires.
Yeah, it starts in
Yeah,
September.
so, you know, if anybody has, not qualms, has an issue with this, then they can always opt out and, you know, look it up for themselves and do the research and decide how they want to go.
That's one of the
Yep.
clauses we've always put in this is that they have the
Yeah.
ability to opt out.
Yeah, and I did send our letterhead on to the company, or to Rock River Energy, who's our kind of third-party mediator on this. And so they will be sending out letters to the residents, letting them know all that too.
So they will know how to
Mhm.
either join or not join,
It's,
correct?
they automatically join unless they opt out, but the letter will have information on opting out.
Was it always like that? I thought it was the other way around.
No,
Always
you're
been.
automatically in unless you opt out.
So we have the motion to second. Is there any further discussion?
Just a quick question.
Certainly.
If you were already opted out of the one we had, do you still have to opt out of this one?
I believe so, but the letter we should clarify
I mean, don't
that.
get me wrong, well, I shouldn't say get me wrong. I am currently with the city's aggregate that they have now, and I'll go with this one because, like I said, I
Yeah.
researched. But I was wondering if you had already opted out and you had somebody else, if you had to opt out again, because what if you already have a contract with somebody else? Because not all of them have the same lengths. You might have went with somebody else in between.
Yeah,
Do we know that or not?
I don't know the exact answer. Hopefully some of that information will be in the letter. And then in the letter also has a contact information for people to contact with questions.
All right, sorry. That's it for me. That's right, bro.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
John,
Yes.
Nathan's absent. Chris,
Yes.
William,
Yes.
Jen is absent. Bill.
Yes.
Motion passes at 7:14. Anything else now? On to Sandy, clerk.
So last Saturday, we had the electronic recycling event at the Public Works Building. We had 83 total people come through, 45 from Davis Junction, 38 from Stillman Valley. I think it went fairly well. I felt like there was less stuff than last year, but I'm not sure that Public Works feels the same way.
Never do.
Yeah, so. But I think it went fairly well, and residents were excited that we were hosting it again. There were a few things we couldn't accept that I'm currently seeing on the curb, so hopefully a scrapper will come get them. Otherwise, we'll have to deal with that.
I need a new TV.
Anything further?
No.
Treasurer, Brenda?
As you see, I told you last week, the auditors were coming last week and they came and everything went really smooth. So hopefully they'll be finishing up their stuff.
To get my letter.
They didn't say, they didn't ask.
They're not complaining that they.
They're not complaining.
Well, that's the way, that was a better way to do it for me in the letter than the online stuff that didn't work.
That's it.
Okay. The committees, community development events isn't here, but we do have.
I do have a list of stuff.
There you go.
And I'm going to circle back to me first. I forgot.
All right, Jen.
I know. Bill French from Sunvest Solar contacted me about this stuff I'd forwarded on to you guys and wanted to know if anybody had any questions about the potential solar project on the north side of town.
I didn't have any questions, sorry.
Okay.
He's probably gonna call me, so
Not
do you
interested.
have
I'm not,
an opinion?
Not interested in doing
I'm
that.
not either.
The uncertain side was this side over here, and
That's not
William
even
is
right.
I
representing.
know William wanted to read what they were offering, which is still very low.
If I'm not mistaken, I thought the state predetermined the property value of these units, which limited the property taxability. I don't see the benefit to us. to be honest.
Not at all.
Okay.
And when he calls me again, I'll let him know.
Do you want me to respond to his email then and let him know to contact you?
Sure.
Okay.
He
Okay.
likes to call me.
My gen related items. On July 3rd, we have the fireworks and the movie in the park for Tom and Jerry's. Candy Cloud has asked whether they can bring their truck that evening and host it here in the park. I did talk to Nathan about this, and his reaction was with mine, which is no, simply because I think it's going to pull people from using concessions, and that is our biggest night to try and make as much money as we can at concessions and hopefully break even for the year.
So we will be fully staffed and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, but I saw concessions open one of the past couple weekends, and due to the limitations, they're selling very limited items to the point where I don't think it's.
So
even worth it.
July 3rd, he will have cheeseburgers, hamburgers, hot dogs,
Slushies.
the slushies.
Now, there's
We
the
have
money
other events that we're gonna be able to sell the remaining.
Yes. He finally, I think this week, has hired people to feel comfortable enough to host that event. But he did go and pull the Square report from 2 years ago and realized that this is an important event for the concession stands.
Yeah.
So,
Did we want the pork tenderloin sandwich?
with the
No.
price of
$60?
meat, we'll see where we're at. So, Candy Cloud coming, yes, no, thoughts?
What is that?
It's, they do like,
Do they serve food that would take away from our food?
they serve sweets. So it would take away from potentially our slushies because they do make a lemonade strawberry thing, or they also do, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like an Italian ice with some heavy cream on top of it. That's got flavoring in it.
I would not want them parked inside the park. Therefore,
I mean, if they're on the
They'd have
Just
public
say
street.
no.
they'd
Yeah,
have to
street,
do it.
which-
They'd have to
Well, we
get-
can't
That's gonna
because,
create problems with traffic.
I'm saying no.
No.
okay.
It's too short a notice.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I discussed with Nate too. And I said, maybe we look at the cost of concessions and manpower, and next year discuss inviting food trucks instead of concessions and charging them a fee to register for the event. So, but we'll discuss that next year. I'll let him know that Candy Cloud is a no. And then, Jen wanted to let everybody know the farmer's market this last Wednesday was small. They only had 5 vendors there, but there were a lot of people that came out to support them. That's all she had.
All right, finance,
Do you have any emergency expenditures?
We do not.
I have nothing.
ordinance enforcement.
Nothing, except we did have a couple letters go out.
How are those working?
The letter?
No.
Very little difference, if any.
Yeah, so here's what I
That's
think
only
is
one
messing.
working, I guess.
Yep, this is what's messing up my electronics tonight, is that I didn't know there was a difference between a microphone cord and a stereo cord on the numbers of rings that it had on it.
2 rings
So-
of stereo.
Yeah, learned that this week. So the cord we had existing was a microphone cord, and because I was trying to figure out why only one half of the headset was it working. And so the new cords are coming in and should hopefully be here before next Tuesday, which I think will solve why Glenda can't hear and also the headphones.
But won't he technically then just be having mono in each ear?
Well, we can always set, can you set the gains up on that?
I don't know, because
Is he-
it's,
Is he plugged into,
he is currently plugged into the system over here.
Okay.
And it's also running through 3 splitters. The things I have ordered will reduce that to just 1.
excellent.
So I think that those things will help.
All right, so we'll move on from ordinance enforcement to parks. You have anything on parks, anybody?
We
If-
haven't heard.
John, you gotta pull your mic super close until I get this fixed next week. Thank you.
I don't believe we've had any further conversations with Fairground or of any interest, so until we do, we'll certainly update everyone.
Streets?
Yeah, we had a Facebook post where somebody thought that we should, line North Junction Road.
Chris, can you pull your mic close? Pick one.
Geez, both,
There we go.
Stop.
2 lines for stereo.
Thank you. It'll be better
I don't
next
need
week.
So, I just wanted to
You know, this all worked till you messed with it.
let the board know that somebody gave us that idea, and if the board was interested in looking into a price to, line, the street markings
Have we ever lined it?
You know, I don't ever recall it being lined, but you know, then Sandy brought up that it is, you know, from what, 72 to what?
So you're talking right
Yeah.
over here?
Yeah,
It's never, I don't ever.
Well, north of there, you couldn't line it when it was the pea gravel. So,
Right.
but now you could.
You stay on the right side if you're heading that way though, right? It
That's
hasn't
pretty much it.
changed
Stay on the right
any.
side.
Okay, that's good.
I'm just.
We've never
saying,
lined it. Why would we line it?
I'm not advocating for it.
He's just sharing with the board.
I'm just asking. I'm saying, we got this post and somebody thought that we should line it. They also didn't like the condition of the first portion that we redid. It's uneven and
But that was many
I
years.
can't remember exactly what the complaint was.
Swales?
That sounds about right.
What's a swale?
Uneven as whales. Was that your post?
Good
No.
Lord, no.
But, and you know, it's not it's patchwork together. So it's not going to be as smooth as when you peel and replace the whole thing. That's just the way it is. It's also cheaper and currently in our
You don't like swales?
our budget
like
financial
swales?
woes, we don't have the money for,
So it's smooth sailing, not smooth sailing.
yes, there you go. You can bounce up and down. I don't know. I just wanted to bring it to the board's attention. I've been traveling down it for 20 years and it's never been lined before and it's never seemed to be an issue. So, but you know, maybe people are going faster now because it is
Not
smooth.
lined. That could be why they go.
That could be.
I got two things. One,
Okay.
it would look just as silly because the road is so chopped up with other government entities.
Trust me, I
And
understand.
two, I'm not a fan of making policy for one person.
That's true. I'm just,
So
but you know, sometimes safety and, you know, the rest is not a bad, it's, you
I
know,
think it's been
personally,
that way since it was
it's
a
not a
township.
horrible idea. It's just, I just don't know if it's worth the money and I don't know how much it costs to mark roads. Is it expensive, Fergie? Do you know?
I have,
Just say yes.
I like
that
to,
wasn't me.
I like to think that.
You don't
we've always-
whisper well.
We've done them always as a part of a street project, correct? We've never lined outside of one?
The only thing that is lined is basically, I mean, when we did the A2 on South Junction there, I think they lined that, but we never
Yeah.
redid the lines because it was never done to begin with. So we didn't invest in it again. And what, 99% of this community doesn't
I was
have?
gonna say,
No.
Junction Road here between Lincoln
Yeah, that's the only piece
and
right here.
Northwestern is the only section that's
Yeah.
lined in the
Yeah.
entire village.
I
right?
mentioned that as
That's
well in
correct.
the post.
The rest of it is not.
Well, you know, except for the highway, which.
But we don't,
line by
right,
the
that's
state,
IDOT.
right?
Village owned road.
Right, yeah,
Okay.
so, but, you know, most of the village roads is separate junction
There's
roads.
a chance for the township to show us up. They can go do their section.
Okay, like they did with the construction.
So that we have the figure
Okay.
11 black stripes and the yellow stripes in the middle.
Well, I just thought I'd bring it to your attention.
I guess my question would be, I mean, whether we do it or don't do it, I look at North Junction Road, South Junction Road, past, Ogle Crossing and past,
Right.
Lincoln here, the rural part of it is no different than Big Mound Road or Edson Road or Friday
Right.
Road or
You know, is
there
Big
are
Mound,
rural roads.
is Big Mound striped going
No.
towards, no?
Did you ever go on it?
Not going towards Murray,
No, it's.
they're going the other way, I
Yeah.
go down it every day,
It's got more swales than.
So, like I
but
said,
you get with rural roads, you get swales with rural roads.
It's the country.
I personally, and this is just my personal opinion, I don't think it's worth the money to line them for us. You know, it hasn't been a problem with people staying on their own side of the road for the most part. So I
well,
don't really.
and I agree with William, and especially going north, or maybe it was Rick, I'm not sure.
Well,
But
right now,
You're
it's
gonna
not-
have our section, township section, our section, then you're gonna have City of Rockford's. That is going, I mean, why even waste the time
Right.
there?
You know, actually, to reiterate all that, before we can line it, we'd have to do a traffic study to find out where and when we could have a passing zone, a no passing zone and all that other jazz.
Oh, really? You gotta have that?
I'm gonna be 95%.
You know what? I'm sure with this, with the state of Illinois rules, you're probably correct.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's
That
worth
will
the money.
be,
There have been reports
Unless
since
you
we
just
finished that project,
Solid lines the whole way and don't even give them the option.
since we finished that project, the speed has increased out there.
I'm sure it has.
We're getting
The
complaints
road's better.
Oh, I bet it's-
specifically about 2 cars, but there's a whole lot more that are involved.
Well, the road's better, people will
What's
go
that?
faster.
We knew that was coming.
Well, and then so did the residents out there.
I
unfortunately.
don't know. You
Oh,
think the
sure.
transition between the surfaces would slow people down?
They'll aim for the best spot in that section.
Okay, well,
So that thing Jen's working on with the speed limits, the speed limit signs might be a good thing.
Yes, so I actually emailed the cost of those speed limit signs to Jen and Bill today, because they had both, well, Jen had it, and I took it from her and was able to share it with Bill. But I did put in there, that we would need to check with Brenda. That is not an item that was budgeted for this year, so it might be something that has to wait until next fiscal year if there is not extra funds available to spend $10,000 on flashing speed signs.
is that what they are, 10,000 apiece?
They're 10,000 for four, and I miss.
That's right, we
And
just talked about that.
How effective, well, another time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a conversation for another time. At this time, I did mention in my email that I don't think that we budgeted for those.
Well, maybe I'll find a friendly trustee who's got money in his budget.
Yeah.
Like other things, we
But,
swish around.
You got money,
well,
Cody?
that's the problem. Nobody's got money.
We stripped it down.
We stripped the budget. There's no extras laying around.
All right, you done, Chris?
Yeah, I guess so. Unless
You have anything on utilities?
No, I do not.
All right. Anybody have anything on economic development?
No.
All right.
I did go down and look at that gas station. It's very nice.
Oh, for the
Flag,
PBC
that's
hearing
flag.
on July
Good one.
12th?
I hope you
Very
went in
nice.
and bought something.
I just drove.
Very nice station down there.
You don't want to.
Very nice, very nice.
Public?
Could have told me how the price before.
Can you give a short reason why the 412K supposedly was spent on the water tower? One of the residents mentioned it, and I didn't think it was my place to answer that question.
Maybe,
I know it was needed, but can you re-emphasize why it was needed?
Well, the post made it sound like all we did was paint the water tower. There were a lot of repairs done to that water tower, internal and external, for that amount of money. We actually put it off as far as we could put it off. Because it was 98 built.
Yes.
yes,
So
98.
we were 23 years later. It's actually a pretty good life for the paint on that. The new paint is even better than what was on there before. I should say the new coating. It's not really. But I know with the additional, or the graphics changing on it, people might have the misconception that all we did was paint it. But the funny thing about that post, it only really kind of solidifies the whole reason we sent out that letter in the first place, is that $417,000 should have been in a fund ready to be done instead of coming out of the general fund and out of the budget every year. It should have already been there. And
Actually, the painting was only about 236,000, if I'm reading this correctly. The other repairs
The
were
rest
the
were-
rest of that.
And then the services for bringing in the trucks, and
Correct.
so we would always have water pressure while it was down.
Yes.
And
There
the
was a lot of
conclusion
other
was
things.
that the exterior coating is an epoxy urethane system that is in fair condition. The coating is slightly faded. Coating deterioration includes spot failures to the substrate with the rust undercutting, delamination, and erosion of the metal and concrete. There are numerous spot failures on the bowl, sidewalls, and roof. The coating has a good adhesion. Only the access tube, mud valve, and the manway are coated in the dry interior. The dry interior coating is an epoxy system that is in poor condition overall. Coating deterioration includes spot failures to the substrate and the rust undercutting and rust bleed through, and the failures of the access tube and the mud valve and the one on the manway. The wet interior coating is a multi-coat epoxy system that is in fair condition overall. Below the high water level, the coating deterioration includes spot failures, delamination, and blistering on the bowl, access tube, and sidewalls. Above the high water level, the coating is deteriorating at the roof panels, roof stiffeners, and the painter's railing edges with minor corrosion.
Yeah,
So those are the reasons why we.
that's the interior of it, not the exterior.
No, that was both.
That's after
They're
the
both.
first.
Both,
Well, I know, but I'm saying the last bit that you were
The
talking
spot
about. was
failures, the corrosion.
correct.
Right.
Yeah.
The interior was the
Delamination.
main issue.
Well, I guess people don't realize that you have to do that too, the inside of
We
it.
saved a couple $100,000 by doing them together.
Yes, and Matt's recommendation from the minutes from the meeting that William's
Mm-hmm.
discussing, the report was shared, also says that we would have to do the painting in the next 5 years, and it's better to keep the painting and repair all on the same schedule. And so his recommendation was to also do the painting at the same time that we're up there.
Right, I just don't think people understand, you're not painting it for the look.
No,
No,
no.
we changed the logo because we had the opportunity.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and just for the record, this is the Dixon Engineering maintenance inspection of our water tower that was inspected on September 17th, 2018. So we did delay the project for
3 years.
2 years.
We did.
Well, we delayed it beyond that, because
That'd
it
be
was
2 years.
scheduled to been done
No. It wasn't,
15.
we didn't spend $417,000 on cosmetics.
We
No.
were gonna do it way back, well, actually before that, because we were gonna
We
do it when
did
Dan
talk
was
about
still
it.
here. Okay. So but the coating was still in a good enough condition that we put it off longer until we could. So since Glenda brought up the topic, the other post that was on there was our little town, we have people stealing. Well, there is probably some stuff going on around the village, but not from this board or the people here stealing money out of this. In fact, again, like they said, we saved money just by combining the projects. And the other one, there was somebody who was addressing that the possible reduction in revenue was due to the village getting less, not the fact that the landfill is worth less, because it sounds like they were directing it towards a property tax issue, and it's not. They're just down on volume. They lost, there was a short-term contract that was there that was about 50% of their volume. They lost that to that company buying its own landfill. So when that contract came up, it ended. And then when they took, the new owners took over, they got rid of a lot of the sulfur bearing waste streams to reduce the odors. And that brought down revenues even, or it brought down the amount of waste coming in even further. The village doesn't get the money from the landfill off of property taxes. Our money from the landfill comes off of tipping fees. So it all comes off of the tonnage that goes into that landfill. So when you take 50% volume out from one customer, and then you reduce another 20% of what's left to reduce the sulfur, to reduce the odors that tend to be a problem for people and the area, you're gonna see a significant reduction in tonnage, which then equates to a significant reduction in how much money the village gets. And it is significant. And we did a lot this year to cut the budget, to keep it a balanced budget. And we're making efforts to make sure we can continue providing the services that the residents want.
How do we know what you're saying is true? How do we know that that we can understand and explain to the residents that they have told you the truth? How do we know that?
Because you can see it in our income statements coming from the landfill.
No, I'm not talking about that. That's the end result. I'm talking about, are they really giving us the true facts in their business? Are they letting us look at their books?
We will get to see the numbers on what they bring in, and plus with the county and the village are gonna be doing an audit.
Okay.
Lakeshore did.
In
That's-
truth,
that's
though,
what I'm
you can
getting
see
at.
What's
that
that?
Lakeshore did
truck
open their
traffic
own.
is
We
down.
know that for a fact.
Right, and Lakeshore did open their own landfill. They bought one down by the Quad Cities. And
Okay.
so that's, you don't see the LRS trucks. I saw one going
Mhm.
into this landfill recently, and there used to be the LRS trucks going in there all, was it LRS? Lakeshore Recycling Services, yeah, LRS.
You could tell
LS.
truck traffic is down.
Right, so I mean,
LSR.
LSR.
Lakeshore, right. So those trucks used to go in there all the time, very infrequent anymore.
And the data shows it with the tonnage that we're getting paid is dramatically down.
But we're also
Data.
gonna make sure that they're being, now that there's new owners, that they're also being honest with us by doing an audit.
I mean, they're not taking business away from us by sending the tonnage somewhere else when it's not necessary.
They can.
They can, and we wouldn't even know about it, right?
Well, whether we even know about it or not, it's their business and they can run it how they choose. We can't dictate where they put their tonnage, but the other landfills they have in the area don't have the capacity that this one does. We're gonna get paid the same amount of money for that landfill over time. It'll just be a slower amount. Now, I'm trying to take the new owners in good faith at what they've said, and they tried to reduce all the stuff that creates the odors. And now they're going after other waste streams that won't create those odors to start bringing their capacity, or to start bringing in the more business to their landfill.
But that also stretches out the life of the
They did.
landfill, which means you get money for a longer amount of time instead of,
They were down to 5 years, they said.
yeah, so this
And
could
now-
extend it out to 8, 10, who knows?
Recently, they said it was gonna add, at the current levels, about a decade to the landfill.
There you go.
Who are the new owners? Is it posted out there now?
Waste management.
Waste Management?
The largest waste,
I couldn't hear you, Bill.
the largest waste company in the
Yeah,
industry.
a conglomerate. Mhm.
They are huge. But they were fairly nice people. It was our first meeting with them and we'll continue. Because we have an agreement that's been in place. It's an enforceable agreement. So we do have the right to do the audits and make sure what they're telling us is true.
Okay. Thank you. I want to make sure.
Anything else in public?
Is there a time frame on the audit, just out of curiosity? I mean,
We don't have one set up yet. We're still working with the county on it.
All thanks.
Nothing more than public, anything further from the board members, officers, employees, the betterment of the community?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
John makes a motion to adjourn, Chris seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We're adjourned at 7:38.